Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm excited to be bringing you my team analysis video for what is now going to be week 8 of the Pokémon Premier League. Yes indeed. Now, as ever, very late video, I know, you know the reasons behind it, I'm not going to go into them. Essentially, I think what you're going to need to know for the rest of the season is everything's going to be post-commentated, including these team building analysis videos. They're all going to be post-commed. That's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. But getting towards the tail end of the season, and once again, we still only have one win out of a possible 7, which is not good. Not good at all. We really need to try and get a strong finish to the end of the season. Not going to be easy, because this week we played against Monotooi and the Tampa Bay Luxrays. This is a good friend of mine, of course. You know Monotooi. His link's down in the description below. He had a very successful stint in the GBA, as well, of course, as last season getting promoted up to Division 1 from Division 2 of the PPL with a flawless 11-0 season. So he is nothing to mess with. And neither, of course, is his team. I'll go through the team really quickly. The kind of things that Mono could choose from were Mew, Terrakion, Thundurus Incarnate, Forretress, Skuntank, Mega Altaria, Jellicent, Piloswine, Yanmega, Heatmore, and Abra. So, it's an interesting one. Mono has picked up a lot of these Pokemon that I've given sort of the name Poison Chalices to them, and people see them as these kind of mons that can be devastating, but incredibly massively rely on the set you bring, the likes of Mew and Mega Altaria, and to an extent Terrakion as well. You know, these Pokemon that get a lot of love, but sometimes they don't do as well as people want them to, simply because there's so much that they can do. Lesser extent Terrakion, that's just kind of fallen out of favour a little bit, but especially Mew and Mega Altaria, people are like, you got to bring the right set, otherwise it's not going to do anything, but if you do bring the right set, it's going to do masses of work. Now, the likes of Terrakion and Thundurus Incarnate, very, very powerful offensive threats. Thundurus Incarnate, I still maintain, is one of, if not the best electric type in the format. Solid spin in the form of Forretress. Mew can, of course, do the defog. Jellicent, you know, we've seen how well Mono can use Jellicent last season as well. You know, he's used it very effectively in the past. Piloswine, I know a lot of people rate it. I've used it very badly, but it does what it does. Yanmega, not something to sleep on. Yanmega can be very, very dangerous with that speed boost late game, especially if there's a lot of damage going on, and of course he can run Tinted Lens as well instead of speed boost. So if he wants to run it Scarfed, if he wants to avoid the sort of the speed boost, he can go with a Tinted Lens set. Heatmore's an interesting one. You know, people thought it was a meme pick when it was picked up. You know, that thing gets a lot of coverage, and it's deceptively powerful. And then of course you've got Abra, not something to take lightly. Very, very good revenge killer, and it seems weird to say that about Abra, but basically you just got to assume it's slightly less powerful Alakazam / Kadabra. Might have the same special attack as Kadabra actually, I'm not entirely sure. But you know, you're looking at base 90 / 95 speed, base 105 I think special attack. That thing's nothing to mess with. It can come in, avoid taking hazard damage, and basically get 1 or 2 kills with the Sash set. So, Mono's team is very spooky and scary. Let's take a look at the kind of things I'm going to be bringing to this game. So, first off, we have Blue Lions the Tyrantrum. He'll be on your screen right about now. I switched this up at the last minute. I was going to bring Adam Band just to sort of punch holes in literally everything. But in the end, I decided to go with a Choice Scarfed set, simply because Mono's got a lot of those Pokemon hovering around the 70 to 90 kind of area of speed. Skuntank especially. I've been burned before, or nearly burned before, by Skuntank versus Tyrantrum. So I want to be able to outspeed that thing. It's unlikely, I think, that he'll bring a Scarf set if he does. He's also got, of course, the base 80 Mega Altaria, which means I can outspeed that if it hasn't got a DD up. Jellicent is hitting 60, I think. Yanmega's in the sort of 90s. So if it hasn't got a speed boost up, we should be good there as well. Head Smash, Earthquake, Iron Head, Stealth Rock. I only need 3 moves. I don't even particularly, I think, need the Iron Head. It's just there to guarantee a hit on the Mega Altaria if needs be, so I don't have to risk the Head Smash miss. Yeah, Head Smash, Earthquake, standard stuff. Iron Head, just to guarantee hits. And Stealth Rock, because I didn't need another move. So that is going to be Tyrantrum, nice and scarfed, home to put in some work. Next up, we are going to have Hypnodisc the Spiritomb. Spiritomb is here, physically defensive with a Roselli Berry, Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Shadow Sneak, and the Toxic. Once again, I've gone with a dual status Spiritomb. I quite like this. Pain Split to get recovered health back, because I don't have any other recovery on this set. I don't have leftovers. I do have a Roselli Berry. That with my spread will allow me to take any +1 hit from the Mega Altaria and hit back with a burn, and if he wants to sub up, then I have Infiltrator to pass through that, but Mono's a better player than that. I highly doubted at the time that he was going to fall for that kind of trap. I didn't think he'd be bringing sub on Mega Altaria specifically for that reason. But yeah, the Roselli Berry, that'll help me. I'll even take a +1 play rough or Hyper Voice. Well, it won't be +1, but I'll take a +1 play rough or a Hyper Voice from any given form of Mega Altaria. Toxic is just the other form of status I have on there. You know, I don't mind taking the Synchronized from Mew if I can get a Toxic off onto that thing. That would be really nice indeed. You don't want to get a burn onto Mew because more often than not, they've got some form of recovery, so it'd be nice to wear it down over time. Same thing with Piloswine. Either status I'll be happy with on that. Jellicent, you really want a Toxic on Jellicent. You don't want to Will-O-Wisp that thing because it's going to have no effect on it whatsoever. So yeah, and Shadow Sneak is just there for a little bit of priority. If I'm not entirely mistaken, he doesn't have any normal types. I don't think. Looking at it, no. So you know, Shadow Sneak at least will hit everything. For some form of damage. In fact, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, he has 1 resistance, I believe, in the form of the Skuntank, who I will burn if I'm in against. So yeah, that's Spiritomb, just looking to tank some hits and pass around status if at all possible. You know, as far as healing goes, I think his only clerics are Mew and Mega Altaria. And if the Mew is a cleric, it's not going to be offensive, which means I don't have to worry about it as much in an offensive role. That thing can be really deadly. It actually happens to be the same thing with Mega Altaria. You know I got a cough. Yeah, his 2 sort of very powerful, unpredictable potential sweepers are also his only 2 clerics. So that is really nice. You know, if one of them's a cleric, it's unlikely they're a sweeper. So yeah, that is Hypnodisc. Let's move on to the third member of the team. That is going to be Electros. The Itcher, Assault Vest, as ever it would seem. Wild Charge, U-Turn, Iron Tail, Drain Punch. We got max HP, max attack, 20 into speed. We got an Adamant Nature. This is just a physically offensive Electros here. Wild Charge, always very nice. U-Turn, good to get that sort of initiative going. Iron Tail, you know, he'll hit his fairies, he'll hit his Terrakion as well, to be honest. And Drain Punch is there for some nice offensive recovery on the Assault Vest spread. The speed is on there, you know, he's got a base 50 of his own in the form of Piloswine, which I am kind of expecting him to bring a little bit maybe. So it'll be nice. I just put 20 into speed on Electros to try and avoid a speed tie with that guy. You know, if he wants to try and creep a little bit into speed, I've put a little more than I think he will put into it, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much it on the Electros. I didn't want to put much more in, you know. I could have crept the Fortress. I think Fortress outspeeds me. No, it's the Jellicent that outspeeds me. I think I outspeed Fortress anyway. Yeah, the speed on there was, of course, in case he wants to creep me with his Fortress, which he might well do. He might well put enough speed into Fortress to try and outspeed Electros. I'm not creeping the Jellicent, as I don't want to put any more into speed and out of HP or attack, so that's going to have to do. So that is going to be the Itcher. Next up, we are going to have Greninja. Tung Fu returns, Focus Sash set right here with Torrent. We got Scald, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, Water Shuriken. 84 into attack, max special attack, 172 speed with a hasty nature on there. This guy is something of a contingency. You know, I've gone with a mix set with Water Shuriken, everything I didn't need in speed because this guy will just outspeed anything on his team that isn't scarfed or boosted. Anything I didn't need in speed, what I pumped into attack. For that Water Shuriken, Water Shuriken is on there for one reason, and pretty much one reason alone, and that's Terrakion. I mean, I guess in a pinch, it'll be nice, you know, if his Thunderous Incarnate is weak, I can maybe pick it off before it paralyzes me or something. Similarly, the Piloswine, I can try and pick that off before, if it's weakened, before he goes for an Ice Shoulder on me. If I'm weak, this kind of thing as well, and it'll also allow me just to get damage on a speed boosting Yan Mega. So that'd be nice. But the main reason there is for the Terrakion if it's Scarfed, which I fully expect him to be. You know, Scarfed Terrakion really puts the hurt on my team. And there's a lot of potential Scarfers on my side that Terrakion outspeeds if it's Scarfed. You're looking at Greninja, who can be scarfed. I have done it in the past, but I wouldn't bring it here. Tyrantrum and Excadrill are very prevalent scarfers too. And Terrakion naturally outspeeds both, so I'd expect them to be scarfed to outspeed mine, which is why I have the Water Shuriken as a last gasp sort of attempt. But yeah, Scald, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, all really very standard stuff on old Greninja right there. So 5th member of the team, that's going to be Florges. We've got a very interesting set here. Life Orb offensive Florges. We've got Moonblast, Hidden Power Fire, Giga Drain and Synthesis on there, with max HP, 232 attack, modest nature, 24 into speed. Again, that speed is basically just there to creep anything that might want to creep me. So I'm looking at you know, a not fully invested in speed Skuntank maybe, something like non-invested or not fully invested Mega Altaria, a creeping Jellicent. Again, it wouldn't be the first time that Mono's used an offensive speedy Jellicent, and stuff like that. So yeah, there's the Life Orb Florges. I am of course completely walled by the Heatmore, which would be a problem if I expected him to bring it, which I don't. I say don't like I have this battle coming up. I've had the battle. I didn't expect him to bring the Florges, the Heatmore. So yeah, Life Orb Florges, it can really put the hurt on his team. It can do a lot of damage, and it still acts as a natural special sponge, so it should be able to take on the likes of Thundurus. Even with Sludge Wave, I can easily take one of them. The likes of a special Mega Altaria is completely walled by Florges, but I don't think he'll bring that, or I didn't think he'd bring that. Jellicent I can try and beat, and indeed, you know, the Yanmega I should take on 1v1 as well. So that is Florges. Last member of the team, that is in fact going to be the Excadrill. We have a Mold Breaker Chopper Berry set here, Earthquake, Iron Head, Rapid Spin, Toxic, 28 HP, max attack, 228 into speed, Jolly Nature. Mold Breaker, no sand today, didn't really have room for it on the team, but I did want Excadrill. It's a very reliable spinner against the Tampa Bay Luxrays. It should be able to take on pretty much any given form of Fortress, I would hope. And the Mew as a potential defogger, I can Toxic it and I can't be status back. Sure, he can Will-O-Wisp me, but if he's a defensive variant of Mew, I'd like to get a Toxic onto it. Toxic's also there because, you know, looking at his switch-ins, you're looking at Jellicent as his primary switch-in. Always nice to get a Toxic onto that. Secondary one, I would imagine, is going to be the Fortress, to be fair, or indeed the Mew if it's bulky. So that's what Toxic's for. It's a very effective spinner against him. He does have the Jellicent as a potential spin blocker. Earthquake and Iron Head just there for, you know, damaging things and stuff. The speed investment, that allows me to outpace his Skuntank if he wants to bring max speed on that. By extension, therefore, I will be outspeeding an unboosted Mega Altaria too, and I can cause that thing some big damage if needs be. So yeah, that is my team. Now, the team that the Luxrays can bring, I'm expecting him to be bringing his A team here. You know, Mono's had a decent season, but it certainly doesn't stack up to his last one. So he'll want to be, you know, bringing his A game. So, you know, I'm looking at who did I think he was going to bring. You know, at the time, I was certain that he'd want to bring his two sort of unpredictable ones in the form of Mew and Mega Altaria. Terrakion, I was certain of. Jellicent, I was certain he'd want to bring that. I forgot to mention Skuntank as a defogger as well, but of course Excadrill takes that on too. Yeah, I found it difficult. Those four were the ones I was certain of. Mew, Terrakion, Mega Altaria, and the Jellicent. Fortress, I could see him bringing as well. I figured he might want to bring the Fortress. And, to be honest, the last one was a bit difficult. I didn't think he'd bring Abra. I didn't see him bringing Heatmore. I didn't think he'd bring Yanmega. So I think it was pretty much between Piloswine, Skuntank and Thundurus, and I think I was looking more towards the Thundurus just as his kind of special offense, which he didn't have an enormous amount of out of those. So the overall team, I was thinking Mew, Terrakion, Thundurus, Fortress, Mega Altaria and Jellicent. That was what I expected him to kind of bring against me. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. So thank you very much for watching. do hope you've enjoyed. Keep an eye out for the pre-game entertainment. That'll be coming up soon as well. Followed, of course, by the battle itself. That'll be coming up hopefully in a couple of days from when this goes out. So, other than that, make sure you head down to the description. Check out Monotooi's stuff. He is one of the best battlers in the format, I think. He takes a very analytical approach, and more often than not, he's right with that. So he's very good at reading his opponents. He's a very good builder, and he offers valuable insight during his battles as well. So do make sure you go and check out his stuff. You will not regret it. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here because it's getting a bit late and I've rambled on far too long. So my final thank you to you all for watching, and I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.